to The Hub on Hollywood, an iHeartRadio podcast. I'm your co-host, James Rojas, and on this week's episode, we have a guest co-host, a Mr. Matt Shearer.
That's me. Yes, thanks, James. I'm psyched to hang out.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff and more. But on this week's episode, we're talking about my favorite movie of 2023 becoming a TV series.
Wow.
Yeah, have you seen The Holdovers?
No.
It's a great movie. Yeah, it's a great. It happened here in Massachusetts.
Did it really? Okay.
Filmed here, Fall River.
Wow.
A lot of filming over there. So Paul Giamatti, Dominic Sessa, a lot of great stuff. So we'll get into that. Mission Impossible and Lilo and Stitch. They're going to be having a great Memorial Day weekend, according to projections. Your fresh thoughts on some kids' movies?
Yeah.
Are these controversial? Are they?
I don't know that they're necessarily hot takes, but I noticed as I age, as I get older, the strength of my opinions on kids' movies has shot way up. It's like I cared a lot about kids' movies when I was a kid.
Right.
Then I hit my teenage years, didn't care at all. And now that I have kids, I'm more concerned about the quality of kids' movies than I ever have been in my entire life. Yeah, I have thoughts on those.
Excellent. Well, I can't wait to dissect that and get into that. But first, what we have to get into, and this isn't really movie related, but everyone's talking about it, and I actually did a story for WBZ this past week on it, and that is the debate, the question that has taken the internet by storm, and that is whether 100 men could defeat a gorilla.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll start by...
You know what this reminds me of, by the way? Do you remember in 2010 when Reddit was all of a sudden super mainstream and every celebrity and politician was doing an Ask Me Anything on Reddit? Barack Obama did one then. And one of the biggest questions that got asked of the president of the United States was, would you rather fight a horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
Yeah.
And first of all, amazing question.
It is.
Second of all, someone's asking this to the president of the United States. I feel like this is the new version of that, right? A hypothetical question that doesn't matter, but is really starting fights. It's not starting fights amongst gorillas and humans, but it's starting fights amongst friends.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Our mutual friend and colleague, Kyle Bray, he actually went to the zoo, and I asked him, because he did a story about, potentially if animals were to get loose, a perfect scenario for this question. If an animal were to get loose, what the zoo would do, how they would respond. And I asked him, did you ask him about the 100 man versus gorilla? And he goes, no, I forgot. Yeah. So we could have gotten the official answer from official smart folks, but we'll answer it ourselves. But yeah, I went to Logan, talked to folks. Hey, what do you think? One, have you heard about this? What do you think? Who would win? And maybe I shouldn't be too surprised, but the first 4 or 5 guys I spoke to, oh yeah, 100 guys. Oh yeah, no problem. If anything, all you need is 4 200-pound men, and you can totally defeat a gorilla. The first women I spoke to, they're like, yeah, those guys are delusional. They'll be torn to shreds.
So you think there's a gender divide here?
Oh, I think for sure. I think our one of our biggest weaknesses, not only just humans but man, is our ego. Our ego is too big.
Sure.
Where do you say? What do you?
Yeah, I mean, okay, maybe I'm just a typical man here, but 100%, I think 100 men could do it. Look, think about it this way: if 5 superheroes could nearly beat Thanos before, of course, Star-Lord lost his mind and got all upset. Sorry, spoiler alert for Infinity War if you haven't seen it yet. I think 100 men could beat a gorilla who doesn't have an Infinity Gauntlet. There's no question. You get 10 guys on each toe, right? 1 man per toe, 1 man per hand, and that's only 20 guys. You still have 80 more dudes that can handle business, 1 per each eye. You could even get people in there to hold his mouth or whatever. Sure.
So you've actually thought this through.
Oh yeah. Some men may lose fingers, may lose limbs, may lose their lives. Yeah. Yes, but the question isn't whether the gorilla can take any casualty, whether anyone's going to die. The question is, will the gorilla lose? And I think the answer is obvious. Yes. 100 men.
So I'm not sure. I think fear is a big factor, and I think the first 10 people that try to go in for the gorilla and they get gorilla handled by this great ape, I think that will instill fear and ruin morale for the rest of the group. And then you'll have people half-ass kind of fighting back. And,
Well, okay, but then that you need to go in with strategy, right? You can't all just like expect, okay, you two go first. It's not like this isn't a gauntlet here. This is like a team effort here. We're all going to approach at the exact same time, And sure, some people will like get their heads knocked off, but like while that's happening, someone else can sneak up from behind and grab them in a chokehold. And just, you're going to get swung around. It'll be like bull riding, but it's doable. Bull riders don't die.
So
Often.
they'll have to be committed. Like everybody will have to agree that you will very likely die, but your death will be for the greater good of defeating this gorilla.
Right.
Why we're fighting them, we have no idea. It's not important. But
listen, I've seen King Kong, the new one. Like we got to all work together. That's the only way that King Kong has ever been defeated is when humanity comes together. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we're in big trouble if the gorillas rise up, like in Planet of the Apes. Hopefully, you're right. And
but were those gorillas in Planet of the Apes, or was
there were gorillas? There were gorillas. There's a hierarchy. The chimps are the smarter of the smart apes in the movies, and they're kind of like the leaders. And then the gorillas are the muscle.
Yeah. I haven't seen like the 17 prequels they've been making.
You have to see them. They're so good. Honestly, they're really good.
I'm just amazed they keep finding ways to make prequels about it. It's like, the Rise of Planet of the Apes, before the Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I was actually not really excited for the Kingdom, but then, it looks good. The trailers look good, and you watch it, and they did something that progressed the story. So that's my if you take anything out of this 100 Men versus Gorilla debate, is that you should watch the films, Planet of the Apes.
Okay.
Because they're good.
I'll do it.
They're really good. Let us know what you think. Comment down below. Do you think man will overcome beast, or we have no fighting chance against this monster? I don't want to call a gorilla a monster.
If they're listening, you're not monsters.
I'm on your side, if anything. I'm on your side.
Let's work together as primate kind.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? What's going to be beating up things, specifically the box office. Lilo and Stitch, the live-action adaptation.
Amazing.
And also Mission Impossible, The Last Reckoning, the alleged last Mission Impossible.
That's what they say.
Yeah. So what's your stance on live action, animated to live action? Because I, for the longest time, very against it.
Yeah.
This one's actually kind of making me...
I think they're learning lessons along the way. I think the biggest thing with the Disney movies in particular is that you're losing the cute factor. The colorful animal characters with the big bright eyes that you fall in love with. Like when you see like real animals hanging out with people, or in the case of the Lion King, just like being animals in the wilderness, it's not quite as cute. Even when they're baby animals. I'm sorry, baby Simba in the Lion King cartoon is cuter than like live action Simba.
Out of principle, I refuse to watch the Lion King and like the Mufasa movie.
Oh,
yeah, and I think they tried to correct their mistake from the first Lion King movie, the live action, because in the second one, I do know they try to animate the faces so they're a little more expressive and more kind of cartoony or reactionary, as opposed to like the documentary kind of style of the first one.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like they keep saying live action too, and like
it's all CGI.
It's still CGI. It's still computer animated. And I mean, with Snow White, the Seven Dwarfs too. I mean, like
we don't talk about that one.
Realistic. I'm sorry, but no. I don't want to jump the gun with my my take on kids movies at all. But I will say, as far as like the live action stuff goes, they will never be as good as the cartoons.
I agree.
For all the reasons I just said, they're losing the cute factor, and that's so important with kids. But their goal is to get people to spend money and go to the theaters, and that is clearly working. Yeah,
Mufasa made a bunch of money. The Lion King remake made a bunch of money, so they will continue to do this. My thing is that, Lilo and Stitch is a Disney classic. It's a fantastic, nearly perfect, if not perfect movie. And so right now in Casa de Rojas, my daughter, 2 years old, she loves Lilo and Stitch. So that's on a repeat, and I don't mind because that's actually a really good movie, really good music, really good animation, and it took a while for me to get my wife to watch it, but of course, like most movies I recommend, and she fights tooth and nail to watch it, she eventually liked it and loved it. And so, but that being said, with this remake, I actually have hope. Maybe I'm in the nostalgia Lilo and Stitch phase again right now, and that's why I'm like, okay, I'm down to watch it. Maybe not show my daughter at this moment, but I have high hopes. Also for How to Train Your Dragon. Have you seen those movies?
Yeah. See, this is where I'm starting to sound old. I feel like the original How to Train Your Dragon movie just came out, but I guess it's 20 years old.
It's been like 20 years, yeah.
Yeah, that's
and they
ridiculous.
made 3 of them.
Amazing.
And they're each so much better. I mean, they get progressively better.
Okay.
And so this one, you have Gerard Butler coming back as playing Hiccup's dad. Obviously, different cast members for the kids, but this one looks really good too.
Yeah, I have a confession to make. I made a kid cry in my neighborhood yesterday because he's 6 years old. He's friends with my daughter. He spent about 10 minutes explaining the plot of How to Train Your Dragon to me, and I retained none of it. So when he was like, "So which character do you want to be?" After this long, I was like, "Oh, man, I'm sorry. I don't know.
Can I pick the dragon?"
Yeah, I said, "Can I be a knight?" And he was like, "No, they're Vikings." It was bad. But no, I mean, I'm glad people are clearly so passionate about this movie. And you're right. I mean, if this movie is coming up on like 20 years old, then there are fully grown adults who grew up with this movie. And so to have that live action adaptation, the gritty, dark version of How to Train Your Dragon, that's cool.
Yeah, one thing I love about this remake is that the director for How to Train Your Dragon, he's directing this live action film. And so the thing is also, he says that he is happy to have been given the opportunity because there are things that he wanted to do in the first movie. Like, if you could redo something again, there are always tweaks and things you may adjust. He's happy to do this because now he can make those adjustments for this film. So I think if he's doing this,
as long as he's not getting carried away like George Lucas.
Oh, remember, my goodness! Just, you have Tauntauns walking around and Ewoks and
slapping a weirdly CGI. What's his name in a new Jabba the Hutt.
Jabba the Hutt. Yeah.
That was awkward.
Yeah, we won't talk about that either.
No. That's right. I found myself a VHS copy of the originals before the special editions, and I keep that as my pride and joy.
So was it the 90s box, the VHS? I grew up with that too. And so watched those as a kid, absolutely loved him. I fell in love with the world and Star Wars, everything since that age. And then, of course, a couple years later, they released those because of the anticipation for the Phantom Menace and the new prequels.
Yes.
And so I kind of, again, I feel like I'm raising my daughter, or I want to raise my daughter to believe it's the 90s. And so I'm just going to show her all the stuff I grew up on. We're going to put in VHS.
Right.
The internet doesn't exist and all this stuff. And so she has like a...
You know what I find with my kids? It's totally a selling point when I say, I used to watch this as a kid, because then it becomes exciting for them, And, they're not like snobby about the animation, because obviously animation has gotten way better over the years.
Yeah.
But also it hasn't. There's some kids shows today that look like clip art from Windows 95.
Yeah.
But still, there's a lot of great hand-drawn cartoons, and I'm glad that the kids still appreciate that too.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I also appreciate Tom Cruise, risking his life seemingly every week with a new stunt. Are you a fan of the Mission Impossible stuff?
Yeah, more so when I was a kid, but I mean, I think it's great that they're keeping the franchise going. I think it's cool that they continue to expand and find new ways to blow vehicles up and have people jumping out of those vehicles.
Yeah.
It's cool.
He's nearly 60, and he's still jumping out of helicopters and planes, a biplane he's hanging off. Let me know if this is controversial, because my wife thinks it is. So I feel like if Tom Cruise, and I'm not saying I want this to happen, and I hope he survives everything, but if Tom Cruise were to pass away during a stunt, I would assume that he would want that to be kept in the movie. And I would assume he would want us to watch that happen. Is that a dark thing to think? Because my wife thinks it is.
I get that. He should absolutely, first of all, put that in his contract.
Yes.
And I say all the time, when I'm out driving the WBZ News radio vehicles, if I get in a crash, that's great content. Mm-hmm. That's going to be amazing publicity. It's going to be all over the news. Our car, nearly totaled with the BZ logo on the side on every other radio station.
God.
So, I mean, think about the publicity you would get from Tom Cruise dying in the production of a movie.
Yeah.
Everyone would have to go see that.
Yeah, you put that in the trailer the moment just before, okay, and now I have to go watch this. I have to show support for Tom.
This is so bad. Knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
Watch it happen now because of us.
Oh my goodness. We'll scrub this from the internet. But Tom, we're rooting for you. I want to see you more death-defying.
You're like, I want to see you die.
No, I don't. But if you were to die, I feel like you would want me to see that. Yeah. So speaking about dying, people are just dying to see this movie if they haven't seen it already, and that's Sinners. Sinners, the new Ryan Coogler film, of course, the director of Black Panther, of Fruitvale Station, and Creed, partnering up with Mr. Michael B. Jordan again, and his twin. Michael C. Jordan, because in this film he plays a twin brother.
Right.
Do you know anything about this film?
No, tell me.
Just the buzz. So
Yeah.
basically, it takes place in 1930s Mississippi, Jim Crow, segregation era Mississippi, and then you have these two brothers, Smoke and Stack. Their nicknames, played by Michael B. Jordan, and they come back into town after being away for a bit. They want to open up a juke joint, like a nightclub for the local, their local black community.
Yeah.
And then things turn awry when supernatural forces come about. And this isn't a real spoiler because it's in the trailers.
Sure.
But the vampire. It's a vampire movie.
Okay.
And it's it's very good, and people are just talking about it, raving about it, and everybody's raving about it so much that the spotlight of where the movie is set has been brought to the forefront because apparently there's no movie theater in the city or in the town where the film is set. And so the folks who live there in Clarksdale, Mississippi, they're petitioning, they're calling on Ryan Coogler and the cast to have a special screening for the film in town. And I think it's very appropriate, and if anybody could do it, they can do it.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's just one of those. I mean, I remember when Hollywood came to Boston for the first time because it hadn't been for so long. Every time you would see Boston in a movie, it was really like somewhere in New York, right?
Yeah.
Like, and they'd be trying to pass it off. But then, of course, the film tax credit happened and suddenly shooting started here. And to this day, like every single movie that is shot around here is like a huge deal to that community. I mean, you made a whole podcast about it.
Yeah.
You started this whole podcast.
Yeah.
And so it's just incredible. Like, yeah, I agree. It means so much. Like, literally every time I drive by this one former bank in where I live in Framingham now, I'm like, that's where Ryan Reynolds' character worked in that movie where he played a video game NPC.
A free fall.
Free
Guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a sequel, Free Fall. No, yeah, and the thing is, like, there's so many things, and like you said, you drive by a place. I drive by Quincy where they shot the latest, like, Matt Damon, Casey Affleck movie, and I always think about, not only did I cover it for a story, but, this thing where, like, little old institutions, things that have been around here forever, now get a new breath of life because people saw it in the movie. They saw the production going on. They want to go back and visit it. Yeah. And it just helps business. And yeah, I think this will bring a lot of business and attention to Clarksdale, Mississippi. Again, Sinners is so successful that they're actually bringing 70 millimeter film, like, the old school film racks to more movie theaters.
Wow.
And because it's made for IMAX, and 70 millimeters, that larger film print, and so just more detail. I recommend you watch the movie. How often do you get to go to the movie theater?
Well,
with two kids,
it's honestly pretty much every time I go nowadays is because of my kids. It's with my kids.
That's good.
It's become a thing.
Yeah.
It's like it's a great family outing. And I'll rant about this too when we get to the kid movie stuff. But I mean, screw it. I'll rant about it now.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Kids movies are going to save cinema, I think. Because again, families, especially when you have little kids, especially living in a place like New England, you are desperate for indoor activities, things you can do just to keep them in one place for 2 hours at a time. The movies are perfect for that. Every time there's a big kids movie going, it doesn't matter if we've seen the prequels or not, or all the movies that came before. We went to the movies to see Kung Fu Panda 4. We had not seen Kung Fu Panda 1 through 3, but it didn't matter. The kids just wanted to see a panda on the screen doing karate.
Yeah.
And they got that.
Yeah.
And so, and they just love the experience, man. And here's the thing. They're going to grow up with those nice nostalgic memories, and they're going to be adults and want to share that with their kids too. They're going to be teenagers and want to feel that feeling again of comfort of going to the movie theaters. You have to start them young. Every business wants like immediate, short-term, fast growth, fast profits. But this is a long-term solution. Invest in really great kids movies, and people will go to the cinemas for decades to come.
Yeah, and you need to have some sort of like pricing structure adjustment, because if you have a family of 2 or 3 or 4, and then that easily goes over $100, $150 plus concessions, that's just the tickets.
Yeah.
And so, I think it's a very good investment to think about the younger generation, invest more in kids movies. I am dying to get till my daughter gets to that age where I can take her to the movie theater, because like you said, I have many great memories of going to the movie theaters with my parents, with my sister, with my friends, different ages, from as young as I can remember. Even movies that were like, my parents grew up in a different time where they would just, if a movie, rated R movie was out and they wanted to see it, you came along. So there are so many movies I should not have watched when I was 5 or 6 years old, but I did. And in hindsight, I look back on it, and those are very fond memories. Maybe scarring at the moment, but in hindsight, I think those are fantastic moments that you build with the family, and it's also a good excuse to kind of junk out on, bad food.
Well, I can give you a pro tip right now. Sneak in little bowls, like little plastic bowls that you can put popcorn in for each kid, because they don't need like a whole bucket or even a whole bag. But like if you just like scoop them into bowls, hand them to the kids, you're saving so much money.
Yeah.
So that's a good way to save money for sure. My wife actually joined one of those like AMC Stub Club whatever.
I'm a StubHub A-list
You remember?
member.
Are you? Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. You get to skip the line and get right to the shorter line for the food and everything. You save money the more you buy. And there are like lots of kids movies coming out. A lot of them are remakes, a lot of them sequels, but again, it doesn't matter. The kids just want to be in the theater. I mean, this is a consistent thing that happens when my wife comes home with my kids. I'll say, "How was the movie?" And my kids, great. My wife is like, "Yeah, I got some notes." It's kids don't care. No. They just love the experience of being there. And there is like a transition period too, I will say, when like you're saying, you're worried about when can you actually bring the kid where they'll have the attention span. It's like, my littlest definitely will have her moments where she wants to get up and just like walk around or like, recline the chair and have
climb over.
And then, and you use it as a slide and slide down and stuff. But generally speaking, they're getting better and better. And my oldest, from the moment I was worried, we took her to her first movie when she was 3. It was the Mario movie. And she was hooked, edge of her seat the entire time, just into it. I think the right movie matters because she's always been a massive Mario fan. Yeah. So that helped.
Yeah, I feel like, the right movie is very critical to pick. But also like you said, they learn etiquettes. They learn how to behave or, sit through a long movie. And I can be a stickler when it comes to movie etiquette. I'm not sure if you've seen any of the episodes, but I'm very against talking in the movie theater.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I've heard you talking about this.
My wife and I, one of our first fights when we first started dating, not like a real fight, but one of our first disagreements. On one of our first dates, we went to go see a movie, and my wife is a movie talker.
Oh
no! And like it's a crowded movie. It's Terminator, just like one of the bad Terminator movies, and we're watching it, and she's like just leaning over and talking about and joking about stuff, and I'm just like locked straight forward looking at the movie because I don't want to engage.
Yeah.
Because we're around a lot of people and I don't want to be rude because my thing is I don't want to be rude to other people who paid money to watch this film, and they seem to be enjoying it while my wife, now my then dating her at the time, was like blasting it and making fun of this movie while other people were having fun. And so one of our first things was like, okay, we agreed to a truce where at home we could talk during the movie, which that was a little thing for me too. But I conceded. I said, okay, at the home we can talk, but at the movie theater, let's not talk.
No way.
Yeah.
So how did you feel about all this stuff going on with like Minecraft and like kids yelling in the theater, throwing popcorn, all that?
So that would be a movie I would not go to just for that very fact alone. Yeah. But that being said, I'm against the throwing of popcorn and throwing of drinks and like just acting ridiculous up and down the aisles and whatnot. I know you said the future of the kids are what's going to be saving the movie theater, and yes, I will agree. Events like the Minecraft movie, events like the Endgame, or things that get people hyped up for going to the movie theater, that is what will save the industry, because people are going to go out for that. And so Minecraft felt like an event, felt like something that people can act silly and do things.
Have you ever are you familiar with The Room, the Tommy Wiseau movie, the worst movie of all time? Have you ever seen it in theaters when people do their yelling at the screen?
So those things feel like parties or events. Like, for example, like the Rocky Horror Picture Show. If you're going to a midnight showing of that, you're expecting the people to dress up and dance and sing. Like the Taylor Swift thing. When Taylor Swift's concert came to the movie theater, people like singing and belting and dancing in the front. You kind of expect that. I'm a little more stern when it comes to you're there for a movie, because not everybody is there to watch the antics. People are. Right. Many people are not there for the antics, and so they want to watch the movie. And when you have some of these things where they act out so wildly that they have to pause the movie or kick people out, that's when it's crossing a line.
Yeah. It's funny because I had seen The Room for the first time without knowing any of this about the antics. And so all of a sudden I'm getting like plastic spoons pelted into the back of my head. And like at first I was like, can everyone just shut the hell up? But like after a while, I started to get it. And like so some of the jokes they were yelling were pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
And so I was fully on board. Rocky Horror Picture Show, I went into it knowing it, and I was still annoyed by it. Like, just because the problem is they've got something that they yell at every line of that movie.
Yes.
It's not like The Room where it's like, you know, you get little runs where it's like peaceful and kind of quiet and you're laughing at what's going on the screen. Rocky Horror Picture Movie, people don't shut the hell up for 2 hours.
No.
It's terrible. So, I mean, not to knock, if anyone likes that experience, good for you. I'm glad you have that community. But yeah, I'm with you, James, in that particular case where I'm just like, no, that doesn't do it for me.
They should make rooms where like, okay, this is the showtime for antics and this is the showtime for watching the film.
Yeah.
Like, it's same time. Same is just next door, maybe across the hall. But yeah, they should have like this is the fun one if you want to be wild and crazy.
Right.
And this is the one for real cinematographers, cinephiles who want to appreciate a Minecraft movie and chicken jockey.
It's like on it's like on Amtrak how you have the quiet car where nobody talks and the loud car where everyone talks.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, speaking of chickens and Minecraft movies, sorry not to go off on another tangent. My kids are currently obsessed with the Steve's Lava Chicken song.
Yes.
And they want me to listen to it on repeat whenever I drive them around. The problem is that is a 30-second long song.
Yes.
So I have heard that song probably 500 times in the last week. And I can sing it for you verbatim. I won't. I'll save
Thank you.
But I know all the words, and it just plays on loop in my head everywhere I go now.
That's the funny thing because, like I said, my daughter's into Lilo and Stitch, and so there's so many great songs, and they're all like Hawaiian or Elvis, and so they're all good, good songs to jam with or vibe with. She has started getting into Bluey just because they play like the theme song at daycare.
Bluey's the best.
The show is
so good.
It's the best. That being said, the intro theme song is like 30 seconds long, 45 seconds long, and my daughter, we're driving back from daycare. She just heard the song, so she wants to hear it. Okay, we'll play it, and then like again. Okay, play it again. 45 seconds later, again. And so it's just like, okay, and it's just
Does she have you discovered the like extended version of it with
There's
like the saxophone solos and stuff?
There's like the whole family, like the whole friends and family kind of a thing. They get invited into the intro for this longer version, but I think it's still a minute, which is still like, okay, repeat.
Gotcha.
So the drive home is like 20 minutes to drive back home. You have 20 times this thing is looping
Kids
over.
love that repetition. Same thing over and over and over again. Again, that's why they'll save the cinema. You can bring kids to the movies for multiple screenings of the same movie.
Yeah. So movie theaters, get on to raising the next generation.
Yes, and bring back old kids movies too. Like they're bringing back Revenge of the Sith this weekend. Bring back old kids movies too.
Bring back Jurassic Park. Bring back Back to the Future. Bring back all that stuff. I would go back in a heartbeat. Before we move on, I do want to mention, because I just mentioned Back to the Future. One of my wife's and I and our big fights, our big disagreements was when we were at home. And, we're just started dating and we're watching Back to the Future because we both love the movie. And we're watching it, and then she starts talking. And again, I'm a stickler. I've definitely eased up. I have eased up. And she's like, James, you've watched this movie 100 times. Like, why does talking through it or during it bother you? And I'm like, because we agreed to watch a movie. When we Netflix and chill, when I say that, I mean we Netflix and chill.
Yes.
We watch that movie.
There's no subtle code there.
I want to watch this movie, but no, I've definitely eased up and stopped being a jerk about it. But speaking about curmudgeonly characters, the Holdovers. You have not seen the Holdovers, but it's a great film.
You picked an amazing week to have me on, by the way. Have you seen this movie? No. How about that one? No. This is great. But no, this is your opportunity to tell me about it. You're my Wikipedia for today, my Excellent. IMDb.
Well, the Holdovers, I'm blanking on the director. He made Sideways.
Okay. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so I'm blanking on his name, but also in Sideways is Paul Giamatti, Dominic Sessa of Massachusetts, just cast in his first role in the first feature film for this film, and Joy Randolph Joy. I'm blanking on her name too, but she won Best Supporting Actress that year. Great movie. I love that movie. I watched it like maybe 3-4 times in the movie theater because it just feels so Massachusetts. It takes place during the 70s at a boarding school, and basically the synopsis is Paul Giamatti, his character is a teacher, and he decides to stay at the school during winter break. And, not every kid can go back for the holidays. And so those are the holdovers. So like a group of 5 kids that end up staying there, and he kind of like, he babysits them at the school. And then there's one woman who's the cook there. She stays there too. And a beautiful story. All the other kids leave except for Dominic Sessa's character and Paul Giamatti's, and they already have like this, teacher student, friction, kind of animosity towards each other. But through the film, they learn more about each other's lives, and they come to respecting each other more.
It's the Breakfast Club for a whole new generation,
basically. But much better, much better film.
Wow, better than the Breakfast Club.
You heard it here, folks.
It's a hot take.
Yeah, I don't think it was a hot take to say the Breakfast Club isn't a great. It's an iconic movie. It's a classic movie, but it's not.
I mean, I definitely think part of what people love about the Breakfast Club is just the sheer nostalgia of like, this is what high school looked like in the 80s.
Yeah.
And this is our soundtrack. This is what were listening to at the time. Exactly.
Long story short, The Holdovers, a better film than the Breakfast Club, is becoming a TV series. So Miramax developing the TV adaptation of the film. Details limited right now. My big question is, are they going to be filming it here in Massachusetts? Because that would be amazing. Obviously, more jobs, local business, and just seeing them film out here.
We have plenty of great schools they can film at.
Absolutely.
Tons of really big schools. Massachusetts spends a lot of money on education, so it's good.
So they filmed this in parts. They filmed parts in Boston, like outside the the movie theater outside the Common. Right next.
It used to be a Lowe's. It might still be a Lowe's, but yeah.
Is it? No, is it Capitol? Oh no, what's the movie theater?
You're talking about the one on Boston Common?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it was an AMC Lowe's for a while, and I don't know who owns it now.
That is the AMC, but there's an older, like a more historic movie theater. So they filmed inside the Somerville Theater, and for the exterior, they used this old theater right on the Common.
No way.
And so
cool. Colonial Theater?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Emerson owns that now. Emerson College.
Oh, very cool.
My alma mater. Yeah.
There we go. But so they filmed there, but they also filmed in mid Mass.
Nice.
And the cool thing is that they actually filmed during an actual like snowstorm or when it snowed. So again, it feels that one of the most authentic feeling movies, just because there's actual like snow around, and it feels just like the perfect period piece taking place in the 70s. So I'm looking forward to this. Again, not many details, but hopefully we'll learn more, and hopefully they film in Boston. Speaking about, filming in Boston, or at least having a Boston connection, is the show that people keep talking about, raving about. They say it's the feel-good show of the century, Love on the Spectrum.
Yes, I love this show, and I have some serious connections to the show because I've interviewed 2 of the cast members, technically 3, because I got to interview one of their girlfriends too.
Interesting.
So yeah, have you seen it yet?
I have not seen it.
Yes, I got something that I've seen that you haven't.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, finally! But I'm sure you're familiar with the concept. It's a docu-series, more or less. It gets sometimes lumped in with the dating shows just because it's about dating, and the producers do set the cast members up on dates. But really, all they're doing is just kind of nudging along reality a little bit and showing the world what it's like to be in the dating scene as somebody who's on the autism spectrum. And it's fascinating because I think so many people are learning that the autism spectrum now is not just this straight line where like on one side you're heavily, in need of special services, and on one side you barely notice. No one notices. Yeah. It's not one straight line. It's like a big circle where it's almost like a character profile from an RPG, right? Where like you're closer to certain traits than others, and it manifests itself completely differently in everybody. And that's something that I kind of learned just from watching the show. So there are some criticisms of the show, as there are with anything depicting any sort of reality and a group of people who are misunderstood by the masses. Some of those criticisms are like the music choice for the character when they're playing, like when there's like a particularly quirky scene, maybe they'll have like some sort of like a childish sounding song going in the background, like the bed music. But and so there's been criticism like, you're infantilizing the cast. They're these grown adults. You shouldn't be treating them like kids. I don't personally see it that way at all. I think that's just a classic reality show trope of having like the goofy music during a goofy scene.
Yeah.
And they're clearly not trying to make fun of these people intentionally. I mean, not intentionally. They're not making fun of these people at all. They're like just showing them in their day-to-day lives. And of course, naturally, like in all of our day-to-day lives, funny moments happen, you know?
Is it like a blind date? Like they set up two people who don't know each other?
Yeah. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
They set them up. And it's more kind of, it's not like they're setting them up to fail like other reality dating shows would. You know, they're setting them up for drama. They're not picking people out who are like the most dramatic, you know? They're genuinely trying to find a good match for someone. And like a lot of these people on the show are going out on dates for the first time ever. And so to be able to document that, it's like, you know, those of us who are lucky enough to have been on dates in our lives, like it takes you back to that moment when you're sitting down across the table from someone and you're so nervous you don't know what to say. So it's really heartwarming in that respect. Also seeing it, again, I go back to watching this stuff from the lens of a parent. You know, they interview the parents and the family members of the people who are on the spectrum. And it's like, what's it been like for you? What was it like growing up in the house with them? And hearing their stories are so heartwarming, touching, sometimes devastating and sad. You know, I think one moment on the show that stands out to me the most is this cast member Connor, who's like one of the most popular characters on the show. He's from Georgia. They were interviewing his mom, who's also a big character on the show. And they said, the producer asked her, so, you know, does he have any friends? And suddenly she just broke down and started crying. And she said, no. And she's like, but he has us. And I think we're pretty cool. And like that, like just gutted me, just like tore my heart out of my chest, because it's like, gosh, that is so something that as a dad I think about, wanting my kids to have friends and have a social life, and like the idea of them not doing that is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But because of this show, these people on the autism spectrum, the cast members, now have amazing social lives. And that's exactly what I heard from James and Perry, the two local Massachusetts cast members, when I've interviewed them. I interviewed James last year and Perry this year.
Are these two different seasons?
So James has been on all 3 of the U.S. seasons. They continue to document his life. Perry is a new cast member from this season. And yeah, James told me like his life is now better than it ever has been. Perry too says that going on Love on the Spectrum is the best thing she's ever done.
Nice.
So for all the criticism the show gets, it's really doing amazing things for the people that are involved.
And so I don't want to spoil anything, but is James still with a partner, or are they now have the confidence to like date or the ability to? Or
yeah, I mean, I can tell you, I'll say this, and I'll say spoiler. It is a spoiler, but you should still watch the show because there's a lot of educational value in it, even if you're not really following along with the plot. They're very open about this on social media and stuff. Perry lucked out. She's one of the only cast members on the show who they got it right on the first date.
Wow.
Others have had to go through bad dates and be like, sorry, we're not a connection. We're not a connection. The first person they set her up with, this amazing girl, Tina, who lives in Somerville, who I've also met, they're still together.
That's
it was
awesome.
like a year after filming. And James is a funny case because they set him up on all kinds of dates on the show. None of it worked out, but he went out on his own because of all this newfound confidence, and was like, he found someone in his DMs on Instagram and wanted to date him. And like, so at the end of season 3, he's like, oh, by the way, I have a girlfriend now. And you hear the producers being like, wait, what? Where did this come from? And so you meet her, Shelly, who I've also met from doing another story with James. And she's fantastic. James is doing amazing. So it's yeah, I hope I didn't ramble on too much about this, but I cannot recommend this show enough from an educational perspective and a feel-good perspective.
And I can't recommend enough, those listening and watching, to watch your TikTok on WBZ News Radio on our page, because that's again, kudos, you're killing it.
Thanks, man. Please.
That was an amazing report. You kind of for those who haven't seen it, but just a quick synopsis. Perry, she's a big fan of the MBTA. She and I've seen clips where she's just praising the transit train subway system, and you just gave her like the best day ever. And the comments, I'm sure you must go through the comments where people are like, who's cutting onions, or like, why am I crying so hard? And people are just so happy for her, and you being able to be the one to provide that or make those opportunities available. It's incredible. So
it was
great
cool.
job on that.
Yeah, thank you. I had no idea that she was such a fan of Mayor Michelle Wu here in Boston until we were on our way to meet Michelle Wu, which was supposed to be a surprise for her. And I said, what's your number one like tea dream goal? Like, what's your dream? And she said, to ride the tea with Michelle Wu, having no idea we were about to do that.
You're like, don't freak out, don't freak out, don't freak out.
I was like, in that moment, I knew we had a hit. I like looked to the other people on the train who knew what was coming. I was like,
So behind the scenes, how did that work out? Like, you reached out to the mayor's office? Like, how did that work out?
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. So originally, the only plan was to just get her to that MBTA training facility because I knew it would be like a playground for her. She would have so much fun there, and that was going to be the whole thing. But I guess to get that approved by the MBTA, they had to go to the state level, and Governor Maura Healey caught wind of this. And apparently she's a big fan of Perry and Love on the Spectrum, and so she wanted to come meet her. Scheduling didn't work out, but I kind of had the idea in my head, oh my gosh, this big public figure wants to meet Perry. I have to make this happen. So just for the heck of it, I reached out to Michelle Wu's team. Come to find out, they're also fans of Love on the Spectrum and Perry. So they said, yeah, we'll be there 100%. And so unfortunately, Perry went to the wrong train station that morning. I cut all this out, but we found her. We brought her there. So Michelle Wu had to hang out a little bit. She had her baby with her. It was just, such a lovely moment, and probably easily one of the most fun I've ever had working on a story.
So that moment where you're like, oh, there she is, like you literally found her in the beginning of the video. No, that's so great.
Oh, yeah. No, that's right. I had this old footage of, you're talking about with meeting Perry or meeting Michelle Wu?
I think if I remember correctly, like the beginning of the video, you and someone else find Perry, like walking at the station, like, oh, there she is. And then somebody recognizes her immediately, too.
That's right. Yes, she has fans. Exactly. Yeah. Everywhere she goes on the T now, people are like, I want to ride with the T princess. She's such a lovable character, as is the entire cast of Love on the Spectrum. That's the other thing. It's like a show is only as good as its characters and its cast, right?
Yeah.
And all the characters, everyone on Love on the Spectrum is so authentic and real and lovable.
Where is it streaming?
Netflix.
Netflix, okay.
Yep. So
I just got rid of my Netflix.
Did you really?
I did,
what?
yeah. Because I hardly go on it, and the price increase was going on, and plus The Last of Us was coming back on, and so I deleted one to add like HBO Max.
I'll send you my password.
All right.
You still have
No, that's awesome. Well, again, if you haven't seen Matt's TikTok on Perry, check it out, and check out Love on the Spectrum because it looks so good. Jamie and I were talking about it in one of our last episodes, and I confused Love for the Spectrum.
I heard that.
Love is Blind for Love on the Spectrum. And I was like, oh, no.
Very different shows.
Very different shows. That's hilarious. Let's see. Well,
although, it was funny when you said that and you were confusing with Perry because it just so happens that Perry's girlfriend, who she meets on the show, is blind legally. She has a condition called CVI. I can't remember what that stands for, but she walks with a walking cane and everything. So the fact that you were confusing that specifically, I was like, maybe that's why. But
maybe
I guess
that's why. And it's also a blind date kind of setup, right?
Blind dates.
Okay,
yes.
So I'm not completely in the wrong. Oh, okay. Excellent. Well, let's see. Well, speaking about what we're watching, I won't go too much great detail into this, but my wife and I started watching Mid-Century Modern. It's the new Nathan Lane show. Have you heard about this?
No.
So I was sick maybe like 2 weeks ago, and so I was home alone, baby at daycare, wife's at work, and I was like, I hardly get like consecutive hours by myself to watch stuff. So I binged everything. I wanted to binge movies and TV shows. And, just going around, you kind of run out of things to watch.
Of course.
And so I'm on Hulu or Disney Plus, and I saw Nathan Lane. And Nathan Lane had been popping up on recent podcasts, like on Conan's podcast, talking about this show, Mid-Century Modern. And I love Nathan Lane. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, I saw it. Let's put it on. And basically, it's about after an unexpected death, 3 best friends, gay gentlemen of a certain age, decide to spend their golden years living together in Palm Springs. And so I was like, okay, let me just give this a shot. I love Nathan Lane. So I watched the first episode, and pilots can be rough. Many pilots and just are of course. They're getting their feel for the characters and the setting, and so I wasn't wooed by it, and I was kind of like, oh, that's kind of cheap jokes or kind of like low-hanging fruit jokes. Great cast and everything, but I wasn't really getting into it. My wife comes home, oh, how was your day? Like, oh, it's good. I watched this. I think you need to watch this show, Mid-Century Modern, starring Nathan Lane, because it's not a bad show, but I'm not sure if it's a good show yet. But I was trying to describe the jokes for her, and she's like, okay, we'll check it out. So couple days later, we check it out, and like the first 30 seconds in, my wife is busting up laughing. And I'm like, oh, like maybe this is a good show. And so we finished the first episode, and it's like, okay, it's not great. It's not like Breaking Bad, but like it's a good, decent enough like live, filmed in front of a live studio audience, 3-cam show. And eventually we just fell into like watching it like unironically, and it's a very light, breezy show, 20 minutes each per episode.
Great.
And it's fun. And my wife and I, we got engaged like in like right by Palm Springs, like what's it called? What's that national park? With the Joshua trees. So Joshua Tree National Park.
Yep.
So it's right by Palm Springs. And so we kind of have like a Palm Springs connection. And so that's our show that we're kind of binging right now.
Nice.
And the season 1, halfway through, people already online on Reddit are already calling and demanding a season 2 for it as well. So
well, you had me at 20-minute episodes. My
Yeah.
attention span is short, and I fall asleep on the couch so often nowadays. It's
Yeah.
like if I can fall asleep and then or say, okay, that's a good episode.
yeah. So it stars with
perfect.
Nathan Lane, Matt Bomer, Nathan Lee Graham, Linda Lavin. So if you want an easy breezy kind of sitcom-y show, check out Mid-Century Modern on Hulu and Disney Plus.
Love it.
There we go.
Yeah, I've been watching The Rehearsal. Have you seen this?
I love Nathan Fielder.
Me too.
He's so freaking hilarious.
He's a genius.
Where's it streaming?
So this is on HBO Max.
Okay. So at the time I didn't have it. So, but I wanted to. Now I do have it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably check it out.
So the first season wrapped up sometime last year. The second season just started. It's already getting a lot of buzz. You know how Nathan's brain works. Like he's always trying to do these bigger and bigger ideas and like take things to the next level, a kind of unexpected level. Now that he has HBO money and not just Comedy Central money, he can do the most ridiculous, I don't even want to call them stunts. They're more just social experiments ever. And so this season, he's trying to solve the problem of plane crashes. Like he noticed a pattern with plane crashes, and it's that, the co-pilot recognizes the problem before the pilot does, and they're not communicating effectively on that. And so he has he came up with a solution to fix that problem, and he's going to do it. And of course, hijinks are ensuing, and he's meeting hilarious characters along the way. It's wild.
So I'm going to be completely honest. I thought you were talking about a different Nathan Fielder project. What do you know the show that he has with Emma Stone?
Yeah,
what's that one called?
No, I don't remember that one, but yeah,
I heard that one's really good. But I
it.
do know The Rehearsal. I actually saw, I forgot which episode, but I have seen one episode of that, or like, I think on YouTube, like a segment of one of the episodes. And again, I love anything he does. And so being able to use that, as you said, HBO Max money to create these kind of scenarios or setups. Oh, the one where. One thing I love that he does is that he hires actors to portray himself reliving an experiment or an experience.
Yes.
And so that's always, it's just genius.
It is. It's so funny, and it's just so unlike anything else on television. And I love people that do that, people that take it to the next level. Of course, every TV executive is going to want to say, well, this is what's working now, so let's make another show like that. Let's make 12 shows like that.
Yeah.
Nathan's like, I want to do something no one's ever done before. That's what excites me.
I think the one that I'm putting the pieces back together was one where he's helping somebody, and then he hired like an actor to portray that person, but then he wasn't really something happened, so like he hired an actor to portray that actor, and another actor to portray him feeling that moment and like reliving. It's so meta. It's so good.
The whole premise of the show is he's helping people prepare for difficult situations by simulating those situations down to a T.
Yeah.
And so, you're right. He has to like hire actor on actor on actor, and it's just, it goes deeper and deeper and deeper, and it gets so funny.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Excellent. HBO Max, my new show. I'll be binging whether I'm sick or not. Excellent. Well, I think those are the main. I think we hit on everything. Unless you have any more thoughts on. Ooh. Speaking about kids' movies, I did want to throw this in. Did you watch a Goofy movie growing up?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Did you see the documentary? Not
no,
just the Goof?
I heard you talking about it.
Yeah, it's a great documentary, and it just talks about like the underdog story of the movie when it came out. It didn't do well at the box office. Critics were very lukewarm about it, and it kind of one of those movies that seemed like it just disappeared.
Right.
However, for people of our generation, the kids who actually watched it, it had such a very transformative effect on many people for different reasons, whether
Yeah.
it's like the school angle or the love angle, crush angle, or especially the father-son, parent-child connection angle.
Absolutely.
So many things going for it.
Or the killer soundtrack.
Killer soundtrack, one of the best soundtracks, and because of that, people have been like demanding for like years, 30 years. Like we want to see that Powerline concert. We are owed that. Disney did the best they could. They just released a video yesterday, and it's a 360-degree interactive video where you are on stage with Powerline during the climax performance with Goofy, Max, and the singer. So if you get your smartphone, you can move it with your finger 360, but you can have your smartphone, and as you pivot it, you can look around all around the stage.
Does it have a VR mode? Because I do have those like cardboard VR.
It has a VR
modes.
mode. It has a VR mode, and it recreates the entire scene. So you see Max on the rafters getting chased by a security guard. You see Goofy getting like pulverized by the electricity, busting out through the ball. You see like the backup singers dancing, and you see Powerline like doing his thing, and you could turn around. So this is the closest we'll ever get, I think, to an actual Powerline concert.
It's worth it. I'll take it.
So worth it. And again, this is one of those movies. I hate calling on my wife, but I will say like there's so many movies where I'm like, this is a great movie. You'll love it. No, I don't want to watch it. Literally, not literally, but figuratively twisting her arm till you watch some stuff. After the movie, she's like, this is a fantastic movie. Like I told you, I keep telling you this. And so this movie we saw recently because I saw the trailer for the documentary is coming out, and she knows I've been bringing it up for years, saying it's such a great movie. She's like, okay, fine, we'll watch it. And sure enough, at the end of it, she's like, it's a really good movie. Like,
amazing.
I told you.
It's nice to have that vindication. No, the other thing about a Goofy movie that I love too is like so many of the projects that are involving those Disney characters, whether it be Mickey, Goofy, Donald, and stuff, are definitely targeting younger kids. And I felt like a Goofy movie was like the perfect transition. It hit at the right time in my life where I felt like maybe I had aged out of the Mickey Mouse 8 years of my life. But now suddenly there's this movie that I felt more connected to. Like I was growing up and there's Goofy's kid growing up too. Like that's cool.
Yeah. You felt like you were Max, and then now, 30 years later, we are Goofy.
I know, right? Yeah, that's so weird. I was thinking you know what I recently learned yesterday from like a meme is that Tim Allen in Home Improvement was 38 years old in that movie.
Wild.
It's like, yeah, I know. That seems like he seems way older to that in my mind. But
Yeah. Well, if you haven't seen that video yet, check out Disney's YouTube page and check out Powerline. Again, the closest experience that we'll get ever to watching that great performance. For those listening and watching us, thank you so much. Be sure to like and subscribe. We are up to 444 subscribers on YouTube, which is nothing to sneeze at because we're building up. We're getting more and more. We broke the 400 subscriber mark in December, and in the past 6 months or so, 5 months, we're halfway to 400. Near 450. So thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking and all that jazz. You can also listen to us on any of the major podcasting streaming services like iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts. Do you listen to any podcasts?
I do.
Aside from the Hub on Hollywood?
Of course. I genuinely do listen to Hub on Hollywood. I love you guys. You're awesome. I listen to a lot of music podcasts. That's my thing. Like discussions about bands and music and histories on different songs and stuff. That's what I like.
Excellent. Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much. Matt, thank you so much. You're a great, fantastic guest host.
Thanks, James.
Hopefully we can
awesome.
have you back soon.
I'd love to.
Excellent. Well, for the Hub on Hollywood, I'm James.
And I'm Matt.
See ya.
I'm going to do that with your mic. I know it's your